Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jen Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, welcome to Elite Expert Insider. I'm really excited to introduce to you an awesome speaker today, Michael Buzinski. He is the expert at marketing your website and getting revenue for your website. We're really excited to have him. He's written a book called The Rule of 26 for Service-Based Businesses. So Michael, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
So tell us, how did you get into the marketing and SEO space?
I got into marketing early on. I got into sales and marketing as a child because I didn't like working for fast food restaurants where all my other friends had jobs. And by the time I was a teenager, I had already worked on a farm in my elementary school years and stuff like that. So my first job was at Burger King. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So, when you're young, it's sales and marketing. But even back then, I'm going to date myself here. That was back in 1987 when I got my first 1988 was the first year I got a non-fast food or food related job. And and so I worked for a company called Bastium Tickets, which is now called Ticketmaster. Oh, yeah. And I happened to live in where their headquarters in Concord, California. And so I got a taste of sales and marketing right off the bat, and I was natural at it. And so it kind of stuck with me. I was a musician for 15 years. And so marketing was always a part of trying to get your name out there and promote shows and all that good stuff. And then I got other jobs at other big companies in marketing and sales. And even through my military years, I was in the Air Force for 10 years, and I still was working in the music industry. And my friends were coming to me and asking me, hey, I'm thinking I'm going to start a business after get out of the military. And so I'd start helping people with that because I had a knack for graphic design and whatnot. But the current rendition of what I have now actually was born out of a recording studio. So I never thought I would be in marketing, but in 2005, I got out of the service and I started a recording studio to help musicians avoid the horrible experiences I had as a musician. And about a year in, I realized that surviving off of starving musicians is a horrible business plan, especially when you live in Anchorage, Alaska.
Right.
Enough people, enough musicians, but right at the time, the home recording studio came out and digital recording became commoditized recording music. So I pivoted into a media production house that served small businesses because I loved that entrepreneur field there. And then eventually just, that people kept coming back to me for advice on their marketing, and I had a bill for it or go broke. So I did that.
Awesome. I love that. So what music, what did you have a band or what did you do?
Yeah, I had a couple bands. My first professional gig was as a jazz trombonist at the age of 13. My junior high went pro. Junior high jazz ensemble went pro. And that only lasted a couple of years because we went to high school and kind of went separate ways and whatnot. And so I picked up a guitar and taught myself how to play guitar. And then I put together a punk band. It was just three of us. And then it was like a grunge band before grunge was a thing. And then I had a power pop band before power pop was a thing.
Nice.
And, so I was always like one step behind the power curve though. It was like we had a thing called Muscle Groove. And Pearl Jam came out with this really cool sound. It sounded very similar, but they called it grunge, and they got a hop on us in Seattle. So we didn't make the limelight. So when I got out of the service, I was like, I'm not going to make it as a rock star. I'm not quite tall enough, dark enough, good looking enough.
That's great. So you went from Kenny G to grunge with lots of stuff in between.
There you go. Yeah. I always like to
that.
say like sweet Georgia Brown
Mhm.
to Pearl Jam, right?
I love that. So you helped others do marketing, and then you started your marketing agency.
So yeah, so what happens was, when you're in a media production house, people just start coming to you, you're in the creative process. And so the natural question is like, how are you going to apply whatever we're producing?
Mm-hmm.
And so you get into this marketing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm one of those people who just come up with things right off the top of my head really easily. And so I start asking creative questions, and people are like, whoa, wait, didn't think of that. And wait, our consultant didn't think of that. And I was giving it away thinking, well, the more value I bring in at the front and value in advance, the more apps are going to be coming back to us. But we found is that these people were going to their consultants, and their consultants had their buddies. And so if you didn't control the budget, you didn't get the work. And so I was like, well, the only way for us to do that is monetize the advice that we're giving. And so the media production house turned into a creative agency. And so all the way up to about 2018, I actually had a multi-million-dollar creative agency, but I was completely miserable. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to shut this all down. We're going to redo this. And I sent everybody home, and I said, hey, we're all going to work from home. If you want to stay here, you got to work from home. And this was the beginning of 2019. I launched Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing, and where we only focused on website development and website marketing. And we specifically work with service-centric businesses.
Wow, I love that. And right before the pandemic, so you got everyone already working from home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got everything set up. And so tell us, so if you just started a brand new website, what would be the number one thing that you need to do to market that website? Because that's what I used to always say, like, having a website's really cool and it can look pretty, but if no one's going there, what's the point? And a lot of business owners are like, well, it's on my business card. Well, it's like, okay, well, how many networking events do you go to, right? To get your business card in other people's hands. So how are you going to get Google to notice you, not just people that are looking at your business card?
Right. And yeah, I mean, Google is one way. Search marketing is definitely one of the most profitable organic traffic sources you can possibly get yourself into. There's a statistic out there that says basically that 14% of your traffic from Google will become clients, where only 2% from social media, which makes search marketing, organic search marketing, 7 times more profitable than organic social media marketing. And so, for us, we're very strategy forward. So when we talk about traffic to a website, we actually say, well, wait, is your website ready for traffic? Right? Because
that's a really good question.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of really bad websites out there. And so one of the biggest mistakes that I see for brand new entrepreneurs who are service centric is that they are stuck talking about them and what they have to offer versus worrying about what their clients are worried about and their problems and the problem that, the entrepreneur solves for them and how they're going to solve it for them and why they should pick them over their competitors to make that solution happen. If you look at any service, they do one of two things. They either solve a problem or they obtain a dream, help you attain a dream. It's really the only two things you can do, right? As a service. So instead of this I, we, us all over your homepage, the first thing we do is take a look at it and say, how can we make that you and your? Now, of course, you're going to be having us and we, because you're going to say, when you work with us to help you with your, instead of we do this because we are awesome and, you should work with us. There's a lot more us and we's in there than you, right? And the only time you're saying you is because you're saying you're trying to get them to come to you. But if you start your website out talking about their problem or their situation or their dream, like, future casting what they are looking to obtain, right? Want to wear the size 6 dress you did back in high school? Boom. Now your future casting. Oh yeah, I do actually. That would be great. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, we have this process there where you don't have to, do on a crazy diet and you don't have to starve yourself and you don't, but you can do blah, 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 blah. Work with us so you can obtain your dream.
Awesome. Yeah. I love that because when you're just talking about me for your own business, no one wants to hear it, right? I mean, when you're in a conversation with someone, you have to be talking about them. So that makes total sense.
Yeah, it goes back to a saying that says, nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And if you care about solving the problem, they're going to want to work with you.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love that. Well, let's dive a little bit into your book, the Rule of 26. So you talk about in there that there's some simple strategies. There it is. The Rule of 26. There's simple strategies that you can help create revenue on your website. So
yes,
tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So the rule of 26 states that if you increase your traffic or your unique traffic by 26%, your conversion rate by 26%, and your average revenue per client by 26%, you have a compounded effect of 100% more revenue coming from your website. And I created this because a lot of service-centric businesses believe that referrals and word of mouth are going to help them grow exponentially. And we all know that that's untrue. If you've been in business for any amount of time, you know that that's unpredictable growth. And the only place that you own your own message is your website. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that makes it the most valuable digital asset you have. And therefore, I wanted to find a simple way to show business owners, listen, it's not that difficult to wrap your hands around this. And we can do one of these things at a time and increase revenue along the way. Where there's a lot of strategies out there that deal with these, what I call the vanity metrics, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, we have a lot of followers. That's great. How many are buying? Mm-hmm. We have a lot of engagement. That's great. How many people are buying? We have got a lot of visitors on our website. Yeah. How many are converting? Right. Mm-hmm. So if none of the conversions and to business are happening with anything, none of the other KPIs mean anything, except when you're first starting out, when you're like, okay, I need to get momentum. Well, what are KPIs that show momentum? That's great. That's for your marketer. But as a business owner, the only thing you care about is moving the revenue needle. And so the book goes into simple tactics on helping you increase each of those revenue needle moving ROI basically driven KPIs, right? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things we talked about is in the conversions, and we were talking about, hey, are you talking about me or are we talking about you? Mm-hmm. Right? Because people are selfish. They are there for their own needs, not your vanity. Right. And so, let's make sure that your website's ready to serve their needs and their interest at this moment. And then if they click in to your website about you, they want to learn about you. Now you can say me. I don't care, because they've given you permission to talk about yourself at that point. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's one
something
tactic.
More on your newsletter or something, not on your website.
Right. Well, people have an about us. Right. True. Like if you're doing a professional service, you're like, okay, I want to know if I'm going to a doctor, I want to know what their credentials and stuff like that are. Right. Yeah. So yeah, sure. There's about the doctors or about the team. Right. Mm-hmm. So in the team here's the doctor. You just asked about the doctor. So now it's time to talk about the doc. Let's talk about the nurses. Let's talk about the receptionist, talk about the team, talk about the culture, because the visitor asked for that information. But when you go to a homepage, that's not what they asked for. I'm looking for a solution to my problem. So the first thing we have to say is you have to identify that problem. Say, hey, we understand that you have this problem. And if you don't have that problem, then you're on the wrong website.
Right.
Because a lot of people try to go way too broad.
Yeah. Make it very clear, very niche. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's excellent. Well, tell people where they can go to get more information about the book and about your website and your services.
Sure. The book has its own website, ruleof26.com. We have it on Kindle and paperback right now. And then for all of my services, you can go to buzzworthy.biz, and that has all of our do-it-yourself, done with you and done for you marketing solutions.
Oh, that's great. So I like that you have all three, because some people want to do it themselves, right? You've got the person who says, well, I know a little WordPress, or I know a little web design. So I just want to do it myself. Exactly. And then you got the people who say, I'm way too busy for that. I don't even know how to find my website.
Exactly. And then there's the people in between. And there's those people in between who are like, I have the time, but I don't know, man. I know you're making it easy here, but some people just want that accountability. They want somebody that's there to show them like, hey, this is the way to do it. They don't want to guess. Like my time's valuable. I know I have more time than money, so I have to do most of the work myself, but I want that guidance so that I'm not going in the wrong direction with the right tools.
Right. I love that. Well, thank you, Michael, so much for being here. We'll put the links up in the show notes for them to go and get your book. And remember to subscribe and to follow us. We love to hear your feedback. And thank you for joining us today.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.